Alina Habba, the attorney for Donald Trump, expressed her confidence that the $454 million sentence levied on the former president in the civil fraud case in New York will be reversed. In an interview with the web program X22 Report, Habba implied that Trump was the target of selective prosecution due to the lawsuit brought by Attorney General Letitia James of New York. Due to the show's advocacy of QAnon conspiracy theories, it has been blocked on Spotify and YouTube. The business prohibits content on the platform that promotes, advocates, or incites violence against others, a Spotify representative told Insider. The representative also confirmed that 4 more QAnon-related shows had been removed from the platform. Trump was forced to pay a $355 million fine by New York Judge Arthur Engoron in February. The amount will increase to $454 million with interest after the judge found that the former president had submitted false financial statements that had artificially inflated the value of his buildings and assets for years. Trump has pledged to appeal the verdict, but he must first pay a cash bond that may exceed $500 million. This has many wondering if he has the available funds to pay the bond before challenging the case. Habba claimed in an interview with X22 Report that Trump's civil trial was predetermined and that they had already lost before we even walked in. According to Engoron, the former president had lied on his financial statements, and the primary goal of the New York proceedings was to establish the extent of the punishment. Thus, it was a trial for damages. Naturally, the left tries to portray it as this enormous loss, but in reality, James had it all figured out. Habba stated, "We had a judge who was definitely biased in favor of her side. And despite the fact that witnesses frankly had said that they were great clients, we all made money, they did nothing wrong, we got slammed with this egregious number, and I'm confident we'll overturn it." Habba restated Trump's claim that James' case was political, given that the New York Attorney General had long pledged to look into Trump prior to her taking office in 2019. "It's not even from the beginning, it's before she got into office she said she was going to do this," Habba stated. She ran on obtaining Trump. She declared that she would go to work, obtain Trump, and then leave. That is the prosecution of politics. A place for selective prosecution does not exist. James stated in recent court documents that Trump needs to pay the fine or cash bond right away because there is a significant risk that, should his appeal be unsuccessful, the former president may attempt to avoid paying it. In order to avoid having to pay the fine or the cash bond required to file an appeal, Trump had requested a New York State appeals court to halt the ruling and only permit him to deposit $100 million. James requested on March 11 that the court reject Trump's motion, citing substantial risks in the event that Trump is permitted to appeal the case without paying the entire bail. There is significant risk that absent a full bond or deposit, defendants will attempt to evade enforcement of the judgment or to make enforcement more difficult after an appeal, James stated. Trump will have until March 25 to either pay a $454 million fine or obtain the cash bond required to file an appeal if the appeals court goes against him. Additionally, an assessment of the project reveals that the plan by Jared Kushner and his business partners to redevelop a prized location in Serbia's capital, Belgrade, echoes interest from Donald Trump in pursuing a deal for the site 10 years ago, as well as a similar proposal pushed by a top aide now working with Kushner during his White House term. The Yugoslav Ministry of Defense's former headquarters in Belgrade were bombed by NATO in 1999. As part of a tentative agreement between the Kushner team and the Serbian government, Kushner's investment firm would be granted a 99-year lease at no cost as well as the right to construct a luxury hotel and apartment complex as well as a museum on the site. An official from Serbia sent the New York Times a draft outline of the accord. The location would become a luxurious hotel, according to Trump, Kushner's father-in-law, who informed a high-ranking Serbian government official in 2013, 2 years before he announced his intention to run for president. The Trump Organization sent representatives to Belgrade to survey the area. Before Trump was elected president in 2016, the project was never completed and he swore he would never enter into another foreign agreement after taking office. However, Trump's inner circle would become interested in creating the site once more. During the Trump administration, Richard Grenell, whom Trump had named as a special ambassador to the Balkans, promoted a related idea in which Serbia and the U.S. collaborated to reconstruct the defense ministry facility. According to transcripts and a recording of statements he made during multiple government news conferences in 2020, he supported using American investments to change the Belgrade site while he was still working in his official role as a U.S. diplomat.